It's Monday, so that means it's time for another edition of 3 Point Stands presented by Mountain Dew. I am Meghan Triplett, and that is John Roser. And whoa, oh my, what a weekend. And we have to start in college football because that was the weekend. Roser, after what we saw in conference championships, after what we saw with the college football playoff, where they put everybody with their final rankings, did they get it right?
Yeah, they got it right. They absolutely got it right. Certain things that I feel for the Oklahoma State team, they had their chances. You were inside the 2-yard line twice in the last 7 minutes of the game, and you came away with 3 points. But, they didn't have their number one running back. He was out. And so the backup was in, and, bless that kid's heart. He, the diving for the pylon on that 4th and goal at the end. And he, gave it everything he had, reached out and just came up, 6 inches short of the pylon at the end. You feel for that kid because, something he's never going to forget. But that's what the day started with that game. And that was an amazing game. And then we went to the SEC championship, and I'll just go ahead and say it. That's the first good offense that Georgia's faced all year, and they absolutely got their heads kicked in. That defense got exposed. The secondary got exposed big time. And the truth is, when Georgia got stops in the second half, it's not because Georgia was finally figured out Alabama. It's because John Mechie was out of the game. Alabama's other star wide receiver with Jamison Williams. If John Mechie would have stayed in the game in the second half and wouldn't have gotten hurt, and I think he's done for the year, if that wouldn't have happened, Alabama could have scored 60 if they wanted to on Georgia. Georgia had no answer for Jamison Williams and John Mechie. Those guys were running wide open the entire game, and then Slade Bolden's open, and then Jaleel Billingsley's open. The first real offense that Georgia defense faced all year. They got absolutely exposed by Alabama. But that being said, the committee got it right. And I will say, I do think we're going to get a rematch of Alabama and Georgia in the national championship game. But Cincinnati's got a better secondary than Georgia does. And John Mechie's out. Alabama better watch out. They do need to watch out for Cincinnati because they gave Georgia everything they wanted last year too. Now, Alabama's offense is a different animal than what Georgia could give Cincinnati. But Alabama does need to watch out because Luke Fickell's going to have a month to prepare. To the other side, I think Georgia's going to beat the absolute hell out of Michigan.
I think the college football playoff committee got it right. I know that there's some question in the placement of where Georgia ended up at 3 and Michigan being able to did their win in the Big Ten, winning the Big Ten conference. Was that enough to make Michigan number 2? I'm just happy that the playoff committee didn't give us Alabama versus Georgia part 2 in the semifinals. I don't think that would have been great. I think coming off of the game that we just saw in the SEC championship, I don't think we wanted to see that so soon. Now, when it comes to can Georgia figure some things out, they got some injuries that they have to worry about. You have some weeks until December 31st where Georgia can hopefully get it together. Georgia is scared of Alabama. I don't want a Georgia versus Alabama even in the national championship game. I don't want that because I think Georgia is scared of Alabama. I think they just shrivel up and they can't get past Nick Saban. Nick Saban knows the secret sauce. He knows what it takes. Kirby Smart, I don't think he's ready for an Alabama team. Alabama just shows up. I would love to see it be differently. Now, if it does come to fruition where we do see Alabama versus Georgia, those are the 2 best teams that they have shown that they are the 2 best teams. But man, oh man, I'm kind of rooting for Cincinnati too, though, Roser. I'm kind of rooting for them because, the first Power 5 conference team to make it into the playoffs, it makes for a great story. I hope they're ready for Alabama because it could be very bad, but also it could surprise us too. And I like a good surprise.
No, you're absolutely right. Because they're going against what is I think great is they're going against Cincinnati. They're going against the first non-Power 5 team to make the college football playoff, and they're going against the Goliath of the preeminent. When you name the number 1 college football program of the last 15 years, it has been the Alabama Crimson Tide. They've won more national championships than anybody. Nick Saban is regarded as the best college football coach of all time. You're going against the monster. That's who you get to face. Right. So no, I think it's really cool that they get to, and I will say Alabama does need to watch out. Georgia, Michigan plays the exact same style as Georgia.
Yeah.
And Georgia's got better players at doing it. Kirby Smart's issue at Georgia, I don't think they're scared of Alabama. Kirby Smart they have got to get more innovative with what they do on offense. Like, you have to get more. You try to win with this 1990s pro style offense and defense, and it does not. You're not going to be able to do it when you play teams that have similar talent to you. All the teams you play throughout the regular season, other than Alabama, they don't have the talent you have, so you can beat them. But go look at even Clemson. Clemson's defense is awesome. They are. That's the one thing with Clemson. Their offense sucks, but their defense is awesome. Their defense destroyed Georgia's offense. Georgia's offense couldn't do anything against Clemson's defense either. Their offense, he has to get more creative. Nick Saban realized that, and he did change. It'll be up to Kirby Smart if he changes eventually.
All right, now, so you talked about Clemson's defense. Their defense is awesome because of one guy, Brent Venables. And we found out on Sunday that Brent Venables was just hired as Oklahoma's next head coach. And all this coaching carousel moves. We have, LSU new coach with Brian Kelly. You got Lincoln Riley at USC. You also have Notre Dame choosing their coach and going with Freeman. What has been the best coaching job, best coaching hire?
First of all, I just loved how you just went right into that, right? I mean, you're such a pro, Meghan. You are such a pro.
We're running out of time, so I was like, oh,
yeah. I got you. I think Brian Kelly at LSU is the best hire. Even despite his insulting fake Southern accent, which was an absolute embarrassment. And for real, as someone who knows people who, obviously we live in the South, but know people that are have a deep Southern accent, that was offensive, because he tried to make it like Southerners are just stupid people.
He tried.
Yeah, he tried to make it sound like we're just slow and stupid people. No, we're not. We just talk with a different accent. A lot of us talk with a different accent. It doesn't mean we're slow and stupid. Okay. But no, I think Brian Kelly's the most accomplished of these coaches. And I think he's shown he got to the college football playoff and the national title at Notre Dame. And I think he can do even more at LSU. The last three coaches that have coached at LSU have won national championships, and Nick Saban, Les Miles, and Ed Orgeron. And Les Miles and Ed Orgeron are buffoons. So if those guys can win titles there, I think Brian Kelly certainly can too.
Honestly, I think every single team has done the best that they could do. They've surprised us, every single team. I think Brent Venables, the fact that Oklahoma was able to get Brent is up for every single coach vacancy for how many years now. And it just feels like it's just right for them. I think he waited
on the right one.
He waited for the right move.
Much like Kirby Smart did that. He waited for the right one with Georgia. Yeah.
And it's crazy to me. I do think that every coach made the best decision for them. When you look at Brian Kelly, Notre Dame, it's time for him to move on from Notre Dame. Go into the SEC, start this new tradition. Lincoln Riley, you know what, Oklahoma, it's going to be tough. You're going into the SEC. USC, the Pac-12 is wide open. You're great at recruiting. USC, get them. And then you look at Brent Venables. You started out at Oklahoma. He spent 10 years there. There's anyone that knows it best. This is the guy that you need a guy right now. You're losing recruits.
Yeah.
And Brent Venables, it can be the guy if you recruit. I look at all the jobs and it's great. Now there's so much pressure on every single job, though. There's so much pressure. I think,
and when we're not even talking about, Oregon could be coming out too.
And the team that has, so I will say the best job to me is a team that has the less pressure, and that's USC, because they can do it. Yeah. I think it's an easier journey. Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. Absolutely.
All right, let's now talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. They are on a roll.
They are.
They have won 4 games straight and 4 games wire to wire. What have you liked about these Grizzlies as they get ready to take on the Miami Heat?
Well, it really just showed the depth of their team, because the fact that they've won now 8 in a row without Ja, it really is kind of like next man up mentality. They really do. They all kind of rise to the occasion. Now the thing will be when Ja comes back, I do wonder if maybe they were just depending a little too much on him. Hey, Ja, just get us out of this situation. And now it's like, okay, well, Ja's not here. Guess we got to do this. Yeah. We have to do this. So Jaren's been unbelievable. Desmond Bane Saturday night was absolutely incredible. It's been different guys. Dylan's there, but I think the pecking order has been Dylan, Jaren, Desmond Bane, and I think that is great that they know their pecking order. And they're playing better defense, and they've gotten fortunate with some scheduled things and some guys being out, but they're playing well.
I agree with you. It's just been fun to watch. Tonight will be a big test against this Miami Heat team. They're down some guys, but this is the biggest test I think that we've had so far in this winning streak. But the defense, it's just been the defense for me, Roser.